All right, everyone, welcome to the Silas OZOYA show, and I have a professor here, Professor Seyi from Northampton University. Like you already know, I'm attending the London Tech Week 2026, and we're having conversations around how this connects with the African market and some of the things that we're hearing in this conference and how they really apply in real life.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to learn stuff, it's another thing to apply it in real life, and that's the core of your job. So you might want to introduce yourself, just tell us what you do and why you even came here in the first place.
Well, my name is Seyi OMOLOSHO, professor at the University of Northampton.
Yeah.
And my area of focus actually is sustainable business and impact. But I also have some other hats that I wear. I was saying to you yesterday, I've been doing AI training, the models, majority of the ones that you probably used, probably involved in training them in one dimension or the other for the past 2 years. So it's a space that I'm very highly interested in, and I also I'm very much involved in investing in tech as well.
Yeah, as an angel investor.
Yeah,
cool.
and both as a retail investor and as an angel investor, I would say. So it's a very interesting space. I was here yesterday, my first one actually.
Interesting.
That you've been here.
Yeah, I've been here before.
Yeah. So it's been a very eye-opening session, making a lot of connections. I think I've met more founders, or more African founders here than I've met anywhere really.
Okay.
I'm also quite intrigued because a lot of people have traveled down from Kenya, from Nigeria, and other African countries to be here to make those connections and also to talk about their businesses.
Yeah.
So that's the intro.
That's interesting. Okay, so from the conversations you are hearing, so what are the things that you kind of expect to hear, and what are the things that you didn't expect to hear from the London Tech Week? And how do you think all of these are going to impact the African market?
Yeah, it's a very interesting one because an area of research that I've been looking into is actually how the advent of AI and its use cases, how to be relevant to Africa, to African enterprises. The majority of the AI models are being trained on data that have been originated from the global north,
right?
Which causes bias in the system eventually, and also makes the applications sort of not context specific. And that is an issue that I've seen, and that's something that I've actually seen not talked about a lot here.
Right.
Even yesterday, I was listening to a presentation from ServiceNow, and they were mentioning that they've done some studies in several parts of the world, and there was a map, and the map was going to Japan, was going to China, was going to the United States, and different parts of the world, but the African map was completely blank. And I was a bit surprised to see that. And I was thinking that, well, this is already causing a kind of gap. I think Africa is getting a bit left behind in this conversation and participation. I mean, I know founders in Africa are using it, but we're talking about sovereign AI, for example.
Right.
And the US is talking about that, Europe is talking about that, UK is talking about that. And I'm sure in some spheres also in Africa it will be spoken about. But how much of that, how much are we lagging behind? I think something that we need to really take seriously so that we don't get left behind. But in terms of use cases, I think there's a lot of interesting things going on downstairs. I learned about an AI company using or applying AI to develop a sustainable material in place of polyester. Because polyester is a material made from fossil fuels, and they're using AI to optimize to make a different material that's more sustainable. I would say in quotes because I don't know the basis of their material.
Right.
So there's a lot of interesting things going on. But again, I'll just stop talking.
Okay, so from the angle that you've come in from, I think if you ask me, I would say instead of it creating a problem, I think it is actually creating an opportunity, because basically what you've just described is not being African being left behind. It could also be the fact that they don't have enough data. So maybe we want to start seeing companies, data scientists in and around Africa build around that opportunity, because what you've just said is if the African map is blank, that means it creates a white space for people to start creating in that area. And it's interesting to know that, Africa is the future of the world, whether people like it or not, right? Because of the population, the green land, and all of that. And then it looks like when it comes to technology, the only thing they see there is talent and nothing else. That brings me to my next line of conversation. When it comes to talent, how do you see it in terms of this AI conversation?
Okay.
Right? Do we really are the talent in Africa, are they ready? I think that's the question.
No, I think being here, today and yesterday, I'll definitely say yes. Well, people like you, you're doing a lot of, you're talking and doing a lot of things already. You had your startup in Nigeria, and then you came here, and then you're trying to set up here. And I've met, quite a number of, founders who are from Africa here, and I think that definitely the talent is there. You talk about something earlier about gaps and opportunity. Of course, where there are gaps, definitely there are opportunities.
Okay.
And we must not forget that Africa has also led. At the moment, I would say, Africa is a bit lagging behind from the conversations and things I'm seeing. But that doesn't mean that there could not be a leapfrogging. So when we talk about leapfrogging, we've seen things about mobile banking, for example. Where Africa really actually took a lead and they did a lot of things. M-Pesa was a system in Kenya which did very well. Crypto again.
Of course.
So there's a lot of leapfrogging when it comes to AI technology. When it comes to, so we have those sort of instances where Africa has actually led in terms of application of some of these technologies, and I think there's an opportunity again for Africa to leapfrog again when it comes to AI use. There was one of the founders I was working with this morning while I was coming here, and he has a marketing company. He also has a tech company, and they're trying to do something related to a company called Nextdoor in the US. Basically, a community, build a community or build a software that ensures that people in the community kind of interact on what is peculiar to their community, something like that. Basically. So, and I was talking to him about a masterclass I attended yesterday, delivered by AWS, where they're trying to build something where they've already built it. So they're basically selling a solution where it's an enterprise solution where you can plug in the data of your company. You can have agents work and optimize in different spheres. You don't have to instruct it; it does the work by itself. And the guy was saying to me that, why can't we build something like that in Nigeria, for example, in Africa? And I was saying that the opportunity is definitely there, because what we have. So a company like yours, a company like his, he has a marketing company. I said, you have all this data, right? That's peculiar to Nigeria and peculiar to some other places.
Exactly. The solution then becomes native.
Exactly.
Nice.
So you can build native solutions, right? That would optimize and use the data that is already there. vast amount of data. Even though, like you said, there are some gaps where we're not capturing data as much as we should be doing.
Yeah.
So there's an opportunity for data capturing, but there's also opportunities to feed in the data that's available. And again, we can build agents that actually capture data as well, which helps fill that data gap. So there's definitely opportunities. There's a talent for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I'm not a developer or a coder or a software engineer. I can talk like this. I can see where the gaps are. I can see where the opportunities are. I can talk about them, and I can work with people like yourself as well. In terms of strategy and all of those sort of things. So definitely we do have the capacity. When it comes to talent, again, previously, Africa was seen, or is seen, or I would say, okay, it's still seen as a space where the youth is abundant, right? And that is still true. We have the youngest youth population in the world, and before that used to be seen as an opportunity in terms of consumerism, right? In terms of manufacturing, right? So the idea was that in the future we will need the youth in Africa for manufacturing and all of those sort of things. But with AI now, with robots that will come eventually, that will help in terms of manufacturing. I probably don't need as much people anymore.
As much people,
But we have the youth and we have the talent that we can actually develop, which was one of the core themes that was talked about yesterday by ServiceNow, where there's an opportunity to train people, and AI working with people is the next is where the opportunity is where the opportunity really lies. Not for AIs to be working in silos or humans to be working in silos, but that collaboration.
Fantastic.
So I think with our population, our young population, I think we really have a chance to do that leapfrogging that I mentioned earlier, where we can use AI, we can collaborate with AI, we can use that to make our systems better.
I think I'm just being mindful of time because I know you have to be somewhere after this. So just a quick one. Because of what you've just said and all of the conversation we've had, and you being in academia, how do we build that bridge between here and the future behind us, like the generation, right? It's almost like an ironic statement, say the future behind us, because the younger people are the future, but they are coming behind us in terms of professional growth and career and all of that. How do we pass this message on to them, the skills, the research, the development onto them in a way that empowers them to be able to leapfrog and be in front of, at least, if not for anything, be able to lead the continent. Even though they don't want to help outside the continent, at least be able to lead the continent. How do we do that? How do we achieve that? Just quickly.
I'm still very young.
Yes, of course.
And you are as well.
Of course.
So we are part of that. I get what you're saying. We are part of that revolution, I would say. And the younger ones behind us, they have an opportunity because they have an opportunity, and also there's a case for caution. Because opportunity in the sense of course, they're young, the mind is too young, and we can learn, I would say, easier. Now, given that we are still at the very early beginning. Things are moving very quickly, but we're also part of that movement, so we can easily track things as they and I think for the younger generation, I think we really do need to be mindful of how, or they really need to be, and we as well, we need to be mindful of how we use it.
So of course, because some of us are parenting the younger generation, aren't we? So either parenting, schooling, teaching, working with them one way or the other. So in closing, any last words? What are the things that you would say, the three things, as we wrap this up, what are the three things you would say were your biggest takeaway from this conference?
Well, building is probably easier than ever. I'm talking about building software, building website, building
Yep.
applications, and
Yep.
I think it's the era of building, and I think it's easier than ever for our ideas to go ahead and to be developed to solve problems.
Right.
And I think it's something that we all need to take advantage of. I can't tell you how many ideas that pop into my head at any point in time. But then, because I'm not a developer, but I know people that can do that. But working collaboration is important in this space moving forward, because a lot of good things will be happening, and I think it will be good to be part of those. So putting ourselves out there will be important. So that's 2, and 3 is not for us to forget how to think. I think that's
Let's not forget how to think. Don't forget how to think.
That's probably the most important thing I would say. Don't forget to think, and don't forget how to think, because
it sounds so easy.
it sounds cliche, isn't it?
Cliche and thinking, and thinking is not such a hard thing, but it's very critical.
It is very important.
Thank you very much, Professor Seyi.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for stopping by, and thank you for having this conversation with me. And I hope those that are watching will learn a thing or two from this and maybe put them into use.
I hope so.
All right, thank you. Cheers.